have found my brother from another mother. I'm talking about Sheriff Mark Lamb, who's running for Senate in Arizona. And I'm actually living in his county, Pinal County. Can you believe it? What are the odds? You know my point of view. God is good. But, oh man, jeez. I'll leave that in because we're all natural here today. The man is the salt of the earth. I did a deep dive into looking into his background. He is a straight shooter. No pun intended, because he's a sheriff, But the man is for real. And I've spoken to him on the phone. I got a sense of him. We're going to do an interview. I told him I was going to look into his background. He's like, cool, which I did. And I'm going to show you a few interviews. Here's one of them. I think this one's actually when he's announcing that he's going to run for Senate, which is really cool because he's a man that knows what's going on in Arizona. And I've shifted my leanings, my support from Kerry Lake to Sheriff Mark Lamb. Here's his first announcement running for Senate.
Pinal County Sheriff Mark Lamb is running to take over Senator Kyrsten Sinema's seat. Lamb officially announcing his long-anticipated bid for the Republican primary today.
Team 12's Colleen Sikora spoke with the two-term sheriff about his priorities.
It's his time as Pinal County Sheriff for the last 6 years that Mark Lamb says is motivating his run to be Arizona's next senator.
I just started looking on the landscape of Arizona and realizing that not just Pinal County needed a conservative fighter, but that Arizona needs a proven conservative fighter.
The seat, currently held by Senator Kyrsten Sinema, an independent, is expected to have a crowded Republican primary and a potential three-candidate race in 2024. While Sinema has filed candidacy paperwork with the FEC to run for re-election, she's yet to formally announce her bid. Already in the race is Democrat Ruben Gallego, who, in a statement on Lamb's election announcement, said, quote, Arizonans deserve serious candidates who respect our democracy and rule of law. Mark Lamb is just another reality TV personality trying to cash in.
I've been spending the last 7 years working hard, dealing with the issues that my constituents and Arizona families are concerned about, reducing crime, staying within my budget, fighting this border crisis. And I have no doubt that we're going to gain the support of the people of Arizona.
On winning support beyond the primary.
In the law enforcement business, we don't have the luxury of playing politics. It's about the rule of law. It's about protecting everybody, regardless of your party. And so I think that uniquely qualifies me to be able to deal with some of these issues that we're seeing across this state.
Lamb lost his son Cooper in a crash, along with Cooper's 1-year-old daughter and fiance last December, adding in his announcement video that same son was jailed for an issue related to fentanyl. Among his priorities, if elected, would be going back to Trump-era border policies to address fentanyl and the border.
We start from there and then we build. We really focus on getting some common sense immigration while attacking these issues that are affecting Americans every day.
When we asked Lamb if he believed that there was widespread fraud in recent elections, he says he hasn't received any evidence of fraud that could be taken to court, but would work to, quote, restore that election integrity statewide. Colleen Sikora, 12 News.
And here's another video.
Joining me right now is Pinal County, Arizona Sheriff and U.S. Senate candidate Sheriff Mark Lamb. Joining me right now is Pinal County, Arizona Sheriff and U.S. Senate candidate Sheriff Mark Lamb. Mark, good to see you. Thanks very much for being here. And we know that there's been a shift of people who are breaching the countries, coming in illegally from Texas, where Governor Abbott has done everything he can to stop it, including the razor wire there. And now they're shifting to your town in Arizona. Can you tell us what's happening?
Yeah, good morning, Maria. It's good to see you as well again. Yeah, we've seen this. Look, the Tucson sector, which is the sector that I'm in, has been a very hot sector for a long time. This is where all the gotaways are. So when those people that come in undetected, they're typically coming through the Tucson sector. But because of what Texas has done, changing the narrative, saying, look, if you come into our state, we're going to hold you accountable, and holding a 2-mile area of the Texas park and border, this has changed it. And now those people are pushing over to a softer target in Arizona and California. And we're feeling the effects of it. Absolutely.
Do you know why the gotaways go to Tucson? Because I know that. I've known that for a long time, that the gotaways choose to go to Tucson. Can you tell me a little more about that? Why are they going into Tucson? Is it just easier to do that? And also, what has been the impact on the neighboring communities there in Tucson?
Yeah, great question, Maria. And the big reason why is because of the expansive desert down there. There's so many places that they can run them through. There's canyons that they can put scouts in the mountains to ensure that their product is delivered, whether it's drugs, and which is more common now, which is the trafficking of people into this country. They can set up armed guards just on the other side of the border. And sometimes even in our own country, they can set it up. This is what we've actually routed out scouts out of the mountains in our county, which is 50 miles north of the border. Plus, we have the Native American reservation where there is no wall. The entire portion of the Native American reservation has no wall. It is easily to get across the border and traverse the desert and get into counties like mine.
Yeah, Fox News' Jackie Heinrich asked White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre about those razor wires at the border and whether the administration is coming around to the idea that physical barriers actually work. Here's that exchange. Watch this. I think KGP was surprised. Watch.
It's been 6 weeks since you guys won a Supreme Court case that would have allowed you to remove razor wire at the Texas border that you guys argued there's an emergency, immediate need to take down, but it's still up. So DHS hasn't touched it. Why is it still up?
I mean, you have to speak to Department of DHS, obviously. I just don't have anything for you on that. We were very clear about what we thought about those wires. Obviously, DOJ took action. I just don't have anything on timeline of those coming down.
What a picture that would have been to see Biden's leaders go over to Texas and take down the razor wire, Sheriff.
Yeah, look, they ran their mouths. They said, hey, Texas, you better take that down. Texas says, no, we're not doing it. Yeah. And it shows the weakness of this administration. First of all, they shouldn't be adversarial to our own people and to states like Texas and Arizona. But this administration continues to be adversarial when we're trying to help fix the problem and we're trying to do our constitutional duty to secure our states. These guys can swoop in and try to stop you from doing that. And then they talk tough, but they didn't back it up. And partly because so many states stood with Texas, which was very happy to see. And look, there's so much we can fix on a state level and on the local level. But there's so much we can't, which is why I'm running for the U.S. Senate, because we've got to take this fight back to D.C. You saw with that statistic, so many people are unhappy with Congress and Senate as well because they're failing to pass comprehensive immigration reform. But make no mistake about it, Maria, this border problem was created by Joe Biden. He's the author of it, and he could fix it tomorrow if he wanted to.
Yeah, and you would be coming into the Senate from a place where you've gotten your hands dirty. You are in the thick of things as the sheriff there in Arizona. But I'll tell you, the administration doesn't deal with the people who are in the thick of things. We had the former U.S. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz last night on 60 Minutes say that President Biden has never spoken to him, nor has Kamala Harris, the border czar, during his 2 years on the job. Watch this.
I've never had one conversation with the president or the vice president for that matter. And so I was the chief of the Border Patrol. I commanded 21,000 people. That's a problem.
I mean, how is this possible that he's commanding 20,000 plus people and he's never spoken with President Biden or Kamala Harris? They've never checked in with him. He's the guy running it. And not only that, but look what's happening under our nose in terms of what the Chinese Communist Party is doing. Again, no response from Joe Biden. I spoke with Kansas Senator Roger Marshall yesterday, who told me that at this point, the CCP is running the show, even more so than the Mexican drug cartels. They are the senior leaders here in terms of the movement of drugs and human trafficking, and they're making real progress in terms of human trafficking in America. Watch this.
Right. So we have more massage parlors than we do Starbucks now in Kansas. And certainly I think that can be said in most every state. So this Chinese triad, I mean, they are sophisticated. Your listeners need to understand that this is not the dirty workers like the cartel. The cartel is doing the dirty work, but the Chinese triad is very sophisticated, Harvard-trained lawyers, Harvard-trained accountants that master the money laundering part of this. So you're going to see massage parlors spring up, and then next to them might be a restaurant, it might be a hair salon, a nail salon, those types of things.
This was just stunning to me, Sheriff. So what's happening is the CCP is setting up massage parlors as a front for human trafficking. And they could be next door to the nail salon. They could be next door to a restaurant. But he says they've got more massage parlors set up by Chinese than Starbucks in his state of Kansas. And he says it's ripping through the country right now.
Absolutely. Maria, and to your first point, Chief Ortiz wasn't the only one they haven't met with. They haven't met with any of us sheriffs. They don't care. They have shown a real unwillingness to want to know what law enforcement thinks in this country. They don't want to partner with us. Unlike President Trump had a great partnership with us and local law enforcement. But this president has refused to meet with any of the sheriffs. And what are you going to get as a byproduct? You're going to get Chinese nationals setting up human trafficking rings across this country using massage parlors, nail salons, and so many other things, trafficking children, putting them in the sex trade. That is what's going on. You know, this president has blood on his hands for people like Lake and Riley. He also has whether the other people that haven't died yet, that are being trafficked, that are being put in hard labor, that are being sex trafficked. This is on his hands as well. 37,000 Chinese nationals last year. We're already at over 20,000, as you can see right there, 20,000 Chinese nationals. This year, we will be close to doubling what came in last year. And remember, in 2021, only 450 Chinese nationals came in. So yes, the CCP understands they can traffic humans in here and create this giant organization. And like that, like Senator Marshall said, they're very smart people.
Very, very stunning information here. Sheriff, thank you. We'll be watching your work and, of course, your race. Mark Lamb joining us this morning in Arizona. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Maria.
And let's do one more.
Welcome to another Real American Heroes special edition. I'm Oliver North. Our guest today is Sheriff Mark Lamb of Pinal County, Arizona. Sheriff Lamb's been the sheriff in Pinal County since 2016. Before becoming sheriff, he served as a highly decorated police officer, winning awards like Rookie Police Officer and Detective of the Year. Sheriff Lamb also served on the SWAT team, taking down some of the roughest gangs in Arizona. And in his downtime, which is rare, you can see Sheriff Lamb hosting the hit TV show Live PD. God bless you, brother. Thanks for taking time. I love that hat. Is it a Stetson?
Thank you. No, it's actually a Justin. Made by Milano hats out of Texas.
It's a great looking hat. It really is. Look,
Thank
Sheriff,
you.
There's a lot of talk today about defunding the police. What would that mean for law enforcement in Arizona and counties like yours on our border?
First of all, it's a ridiculous concept to defund the police. You know, I had a community meeting a few weeks ago with a lot of our Black, Hispanic, and other leadership in our community. I brought that very same subject up when it was really a hot topic. And even everybody in that meeting said that was a ridiculous concept. You cannot defund the police. And if you really want to get down to brass tacks, defunding the police has been going on for a long time already. We've eliminated school resource officers. There's so many different things about police work that we don't have that we used to have. So a lot of that has already gone on. Now, if you want to talk about maybe doing the job better and looking for ways that we can connect with our community more, I'm 100% open to that. But defunding the police, this is a sales tactic. I learned in sales long ago. If you want somebody to, let's say I want you to end up at 500, I'm going to start you at 1,000 or maybe higher. And then when you end up at 500, it's where I wanted you, and you feel like you gave me a good deal too. So we've got to be very careful. This is clearly the left pushing for one of their agenda items, which is to defund the police. And it's not probable, it's not pragmatic, and it's not responsible.
We're going to talk in the desert near the southern border. That's our plan in about a week and a half. So I usually don't announce interviews before they're not in the can, meaning I've already gotten them done. But I trust him. I know he's for real. I know he's going to do follow through. And he looks just like me. So how can I not trust him, right? I'm gonna talk to him about doing something funny before we start. I've had so many people coming up to me. Are you Sheriff Lamb? Are you Sheriff Lamb? I'm in his county now in Arizona. Imagine that. You know, I almost look normal. So many people have asked me, Mark, if you're watching this video, so many people have asked me if I'm you. I'm getting ready to arrest somebody. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding, Sheriff. Just kidding. Anyway, great guy. Looking forward to the interview. Dig in Arizona. Look into him. I think you're going to find him more real than Kerry Lake. That's what I'm finding. So William Wieting reporting on Sheriff Mark Lamb. Future interview right here. Tune in.